Hello, this is Sakil from Academy of Bliss. So today, 24th October 2022, I wish you all a very happy and a safe Deepavali. So today, we are going to discuss a total of 8 topics which are all related to UPSC CS, right? UPSC CS, and every topics are taken from the Hindu newspaper. Interested aspirants can download the PDF from this Telegram link. So shall we move on to the topics? So the first topic is to ancient stewardship now stamped on the present. So this article is inspired from the recent movie known as Ponniyin Selvan, and it is written by the Gajendra Singh Shekhawat. He is the Union Cabinet Minister, Minister of Jal Shakti, Government of India. So he is a Union Minister of Jal Shakti, right? So here he is inspired by the Chola kingdom in South India. Chola kingdom in South India. So you see, being the Jal Shakti minister, what struck me was the king's relationship with the water. So much that the novel of this film is based on Ponniyin Selvan or Son of Kaveri. This word Ponniyin Selvan, the recently released movie Ponniyin Selvan means the son of Kaveri, right? So we will be moving to the Chola kingdom. The kings in the Chola kingdoms, the main kings are called as Rajadi Raj, Raja Keshari, Arulmozhi, or Rajaraja Cholavan. The Rajaraja Cholavan king has many titles such as Rajadi Raja, Raja Keshari, Arulmozhi, right? So, Rajaraja Cholavan was not the first Chola king to focus on water. Even before that, the great king known as Karikala Chola created the great Anicut of Kallanai Dam in Tamil Nadu. The great Grand Anicut with its multiple channels still enrises the waters of Kaveri reach the fields, right? But what the Rajaraja Chola did was against the sheer daring of his ancestors, was established of an astute government model. Rajaraja's Rajaraja Chola's government was unique. It it is a type of democracy type of government. Democracy type of government. See, on the stone inscriptions on the Panchayat system explained prevalent during the Chola Empire. It explains in the Uttarameru stone inscription. It explains that every village was categorized as Kudumbu. Kudumbu means something related to Kudumbam. Kudumbam means Kudumba, family, which we called one word today. So one word was called as Kudumbu, something related to family. From these Kudumbus was sent to a general assembly, as it happens today. From one word, a representative was sent to general assembly of the king chamber, right? Like we do today, we send one MLA to general assembly, right? Similarly, this system was prevalent in the Chola kingdom. So this was one of the greatest strategy to unify the land under him was to convert the landlords into dependent government servants, which gave the kingdom stability and made the king and his central cabinet the fulcrum in which the kingdom operated. By giving the power or giving dependent government servants, the, the king and the union cabinet ministers acted as a fulcrum in the wheel of the whole government function, right? So, water management of the highest order. These keys mainly concentrated on the water management as directed by the Vishnu and Vasishta's Dharma Shastras as well as the Chanakya's Arthashastra. Instruction on water management were followed by him very closely. The king's focus on water conservation and rainwater harvesting were such that his kingdom has thousands of ancient tanks for serving community that were laid down for the rules of planning and management of water. These tanks were never large as they built according to the topography of Deccan Plateau. Surprisingly, every village had an Neer Katti in charge of irrigation. a person known as Neer Katti is in charge of the irrigation who supplied water from these tanks to the fields by following a schedule. Even in those times, king appointed a person known as Neerakatti and they built many irrigation tanks in accordance to the topography of the land. Some land doesn't get enough rain, so they built enough storage water irrigation tanks for the people of their state. And even they appointed a person known as Neerkatti and he follows the schedule of releasing waters to the necessary area. So, the Parakesaviraman inscriptions highlight the punishment of unauthorized withdrawal of water. So, they also made a rule that the water has to be released only for a specific purpose and water should not be wasted. Even in that time, the kings had made rules and they have even made punishments for unauthorized withdrawal of water. One of the astounding facts is parameter of utilization of water against the capacity of the tank. Even in those times, the storage facility of the tank is given by 2.5 times more than the normal amount in which the water can be stored at a normal time, right? So they have been in that time itself they had a great strategy and planning for storage of the waters. When it came to the governance, Raja Chola was not only a micromanager of the highest order but is also an ambitious planner and an executor par excellence like his forefathers. So a king means he should not have only to micromanage the things. Means he does not have only to see the things as a whole, but he has to see the minute details what is happening in his kingdom. So the king Rajaraja Chola was a micromanager. Means he even notices the small details or small incidents in his kingdom and makes and executes so that the problem is solved in accordingly, right? So in his lifetime he built 5,000 dams and set up a water ministry. In that time itself he built 5,000 dams. Right now after every independence, the government have constructed only few dams, but in that time itself he have built over 5,000 dams. Think of it, right? And set up in water ministry, even set up a water ministry as of now, Jal Shakti ministry, right? Some such as Oyakondan channel, which is built around 985 to 1018, are still functional. It's a miracle, right? It has been functioning over 1,000 years and is still functional, right? One more aspect of sophistication of his methods was provision to effect the cost equivalent. And one of the most surprising factories, even in that time, not only the government have constructed those dams, government along with the people constructed these dams. There was a scheme similar to what we have now, MG Narega. Isn't it surprising? People addressed the king executed these dams with the help of people and they had a scheme similar to the MG Narega scheme which we use now. Inscriptions have shown that the government and the people used to work together for water conservation, again followed by Jal Shakti Abhiyan. Right? Not only the Chola kingdoms, even some kingdoms in Andhra Pradesh have followed this. When Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka also, right? Our great kings have been wiser than most of us, even we begin to comprehend. When Kempe Gowda began to work on his dream city of Bengaluru, his mother had two pieces of advice. Keragalam Kettu and Marangalam Nedu means Marangalam Nedu means Maram is something similar to tree in South India. So we plant trees and build lakes. This was the advice of the king who was planning to build a dream city in Bengaluru, right? And the Pallavas had a separate body for the lake management known as Erivarium. Eri means lake, Varium means management. So they had an team for lake management also. King Pallava kingdom also as. And King Rudraman of Jagannath, Gujarat, spent all of his personal fortune repairing the embankments of the Lake Sudarshana when it was destroyed in a cloudburst. Also, we have heard the story of Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal in memory of his wife, but not many know that the Rani Ki Vav or Queen's Temple in Gujarat, it was built by Queen Udayamati, which some say in the memory of King Bhimdev. So, King Udayamati built a uh, stepwell or a lake or not like a lake, it's like a storage tank known as Rani Ki Vav or Queen's Stepwell in Gujarat. It is built in the memory of King Bhimdev, also known as a symbol of love. Right? We have only know about the Shah Jahan's Taj Mahal, but many people forget the um, well built by the Queen Udayamati for her beloved husband, no, King Bhimdev. Right? So history inspires always, right? So even our great kingdoms had given importance to preserve water, and they had shown many great examples of building dams in the river, right, for preserving water. So next topic is vital intervention. We have already discussed this topic 2 days back, right? It is that the Supreme Court said that the hate speech must be curbed in any ways, right? There is a good reason for Supreme Court to ask police to be proactive in dealing with the hate speech by taking immediate legal action without waiting for a formal complaint. And this is about the details. Some states like Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Delhi, even the politicians are using hatred words against the public. Even after the court's advice, these states are not tending to change their words against the public, right? So, um, some hatred words even urge the people to make genocide against other sectarians of people. So, the Supreme Court's advice is that do not wait for any complaint to be registered against hate speech. If you hear any hate speech, you are free to take action against it. This was the advice of Supreme Court. So, in India, we don't have any clear definition for hate speech, but in United States, they have given a synonymous in similar to hate speech. So, what can be held or what can be recognized as hate speech? Hate speech can be conveyed through any form of expression, not through words only, through any form of expression such as images, cartoons, memes, objects, gestures, and symbols, and it can be disseminated online or offline. Hate speech is discriminatory, right? One community against another, discriminatory or pejorative, prejudiced, contemptuous, or demeaning of an individual or a group. Hate speech calls out real or perceived identity factors of an individual or group, including religion, ethnicity, nationality, race, color, descent, gender, but also characteristics such as language, economic or social origin, disability, health status, or sexual orientation, among the others. In India, we have a standard code of standard for giving punishment to the people. So in IPCC section 295 of a deliberate and malicious act intended to outrage religious feelings of any class by insulting its religion or religious beliefs. In this section, people can be punished, right? So we will be moving on to the next topic: upholding unity, opposing uniformity. So uh, recently, in news we have heard that the Central Official Language Committee, headed by Union Minister Amit Shah, recommended making Hindi the medium of instruction in several central government institutes in the Hindi-speaking states. Also, the Union government has recommended that in central government institutions and central government employees should speak in Hindi. If they don't speak in Hindi, it should be punishable. This makes Hindi practically the sole official language of Union government, right? This steps makes Hindi the sole official language of Union government. So, according to the 8th schedule of Constitution, there are 22 official languages, right? Tamil, Bangla, Hindi, Malayalam, and many others. This suggests a fundamental if they make Hindi the official language, this will make a discrimination against the non-Hindi speaking people because these rules forms and bias against the non-Hindi speaking people, right? The union government is dependent on states, you know that, and the taxes collected from these states are used for functioning of the government, and the majority of the revenue that the union government is getting from the non-Hindi speaking states, and they are using this non revenue from non-Hindi speaking states to develop Hindi as an official language. What an bias it is? According to this article, the author says that it is an bias, right? Hindi speaking, which is higher than the percentage of population of the states. Hindi speaking states survive on the basis of cross subsidiaries from non Hindi speaking states transferred via the union government. Even funding for central universities and institutions such as Indian Institute of Technology and AIMS is contributed indirectly and disproportionately by the non Hindi speaking states. So, the author says it will be a bias and it will be an injustice if they um, starts start making Hindi as an official language, right? In India, our constitution says that our federalism and the principle of equal citizenship, information provided online or paper for recruitment exams for the army, BSF, and CRPF staff selection commission is available in Hindi. So you can see in the question papers also there are two sets in a same question there are two languages, first in Hindi and in English, right? So they are spending more on Hindi language and they are not spending on other languages. It is said that government is spending 22 times more money for the Hindi than the other languages. So against the Hindi opposition, it is not new that people are fighting for the Hindi opposition in the recent times only. It has been a debate since the time before our independence. The first such protest was organized by E.V. Ramasamy Periyar in Tamil Nadu in August 1937 in opposition to the decision of C. Rajagopalachari led Congress regime of making Hindi and compulsory in secondary schools. So you know Government of India Act 1936 1935 made our own government in states, right? During that time, Rajagopalachari, who is the governor of Madras state, made Hindi as an official language in institutions. So, at that time itself, E.V. Ramasamy, who is known as Periyar in Tamil Nadu, was fighting against this imposition of Hindi in the institutions, right? And there was a statement given that no right to stay in those who don't know Hindi should not those people don't have any right to stay in India. The language movement in Manbam district led to partition of district between Bihar and West Bengal. So language is one of the most sensitive thing in our country. This has also led to a partition of a district in between Bihar and West Bengal. Similarly, there were many protests in Tamil Nadu by DMK government, by the ruling DMK government in that time itself. So, due to these protests, government introduced a new act known as Official Languages Act to provide the use of English until non-Hindi speaking states agreed to drop it. And it was extended 2 or 3 times, Official English Language Act, to implement English as an official language along with the Hindi. Also, the use of English as an official language is in many ways advantage to the people because the boom of Indian service sector as well as the success of educated Indian diaspora was made possible thanks to the proficiency of Indians in English. The linked language of world is English. The India's beauty and stability lies in its plurality and uniting diversity. So, what the author is saying is you can either have unity or uniformity. Unity means all states having same language, or uniformity. Sorry, unity means all states joining together and having and living as a family. Or uniformity means all languages having the same state, same language, irrespective of their original language. So what the author is saying is you should have either unity. If there is unity, there will not be uniformity, or if you have uniformity, there will not be unity, right? So we'll be moving on to the next topic. India second only to the Russia in doping violations, AIU data. So first, before that, we will be seeing what is AIU data. AIU means Athletics Integrity Unit, was founded by IAAF, means International Association of Athletics Federation, in April. Its headquarters is in Delhi. It was formed in 2017 to combat doping in the sports of athletics. The unit functions fully independent from the IAF. It is fully independent from the IAF. Its functionary is not involved by the decisions of IAF, and they can take decisions independently. It is currently led by the head known as Brett Cloutier. The organizations collect more than 600 blood samples prior to the World Championships in athletics. So this topic is fully from this map. They are fully referring to the data which is in this map. So we will be seeing this chart directly. In the first chart, they are saying about which nationality people are using these doping materials more. Here we can see Russia is the first. Russia is in the first position of people using more dopes, and next of it is India. India, it has around 62% of people having doping materials, right? So second chart is about gender. In India, In India, around 45% of men use doping. Globally, around 286. Females in India around 17 and globally 188. So you can see males are the one who use more doping materials, right? So discipline. What type of sports people use more doping materials? So the most people who use um, doping materials are long distance running, but in India, most people who use doping materials are short distance running. You can see Indian athletes around 21 people, right? So chart 4 is about punishment. How much year they are banned from playing games? 4 years. In 4 years, world athletes are 268 people and Indian athletes 52 people more, right? Around uh, one fifth, right? And substance, what type of substance people use. So most people use in India, most people use stratonzole. Around 7% use this material, stratonzole, and few other materials are also used by the Indian people. For example, EPO used by 3 people, norandrostone used by 6 people, like that. Every material is also used by people, but the most used material is stratonzole, right? So we'll be moving on to the next topic. Home Ministry cancels FCRA license of two NGOs headed by Sonia. Sonia Gandhi is one of the important leader in Congress, right? So we don't want these details. What we have to know is what is meant by FCRA. What is meant by FCRA, right? FCRA, foreign funding of persons in India. So if you are having an NGO, you should definitely have a funding from domestic peoples, also from international peoples. Funding can be from anywhere, right? So it can be from domestic peoples or it can from with the international platform, right? So foreign funding of persons in India is regulated by FCRA and is implemented by Ministry of Home Affairs. So Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. It is something similar to what? Finance, but it is regulated by MHA. You have to note this point. Individuals are permitted to accept foreign contributions without permission of MHA. Individuals, not NGOs, individuals are permitted to accept their foreign contributions without the permission of MHA. However, the monetary limit for the acceptance of such foreign contributions shall be less than 25 rupees, 25,000 rupees. The Act ensures that the recipients of foreign contributions adhere to the stated purposes for which the state contribution has been obtained. For example, if an NGO is building a school and they want funds, they will be advertising in many platforms and they will be getting funds from international platforms. So when they receive these funds, they should use these funds only for school purpose and they should not divert these funds for other purposes. This is the main motive of this act. So under this act, organizations are required to register themselves every 5 years. They have to renew their registration every 5 years. So this is an act which was brought in 2010, but in 2019 there was some amendments such as prohibition to accept foreign contribution. It bars public servants. Public servants cannot receive foreign contributions while they are in service. Transfer of foreign contribution. It prohibits the transfer of foreign contributions to any persons. They should register an Aadhaar for registration. In NGO, there should be a local person, and that local person should register his Aadhaar with the MHA, right? FCRA account. The FCRA account should be held only in the State Bank of India, which is in Delhi, and it should not be held in any other bank. So, a foreign contribution must be received only in account designated by the bank as FCR account in such branches of State Bank of India, New Delhi. No other funds from foreign contribution should be received or deposited in this account. Restriction in utilization of foreign contribution. So, when you get a rupees 100 rupees, what the government is saying that for your internal functions, for example, for paying rent for the building, right? For cleaning purpose, for for paying salary to the employees, like this type of internal functions, the people have to use only 20 rupees when they receive 100 rupees. Previously, they can spend around 50 rupees, but due to these amendments, these NGOs can spend only rupees 20 from rupees 100 when they receive funds from the international platforms, right? So, shall we move on to the next topic? Sorry, this topic is from 5 new varieties to expand India's basmati platter. So, in paddy, in rice, one of the most revenue earning paddy is basmati rice. So, in this basmati rice, there are few disadvantages such as it gets easy diseases, herbicide diseases, drought resistant. These are the problems faced by the basmati plants. So, our Indian institution known as IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institution, in 2020 and 2021 are all set to bring revolutionary changes in the way the paddy is cultivated in the country. Varieties, three out of five varieties can resist two common diseases of paddy. The other can save 35% of water. These can save two common diseases, 3 out of 5, and other one is can save 35% of water. The other means fourth 35% of water now required as a seeds can be directly sown, obviating the needs of transplanting seedlings. These two seeds are resistant to herbicides too. So 3 out of 5 varieties can resist diseases, while 2 out of 5 can save water. 35% of water which is required for the seeds can be directly sown, right? So we will be seeing into more details. This will help increasing farmers' income, right? Yeah, right. Because if it saves 35% of water, you can reduce the water bill, right? Similarly, if it saves you from the diseases, you can have more quantity for exporting or for giving it to the domestic market by improving production and by realizing the price of the labor and input cost. India is known for the basmati rice. They produce from seven states: Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. If you notice, every states are in the North India, right? Basmati known for its mouthful aroma, length, and the grain when cooked and taste has a market abroad and brings about 30,000 crore in foreign exchange every year, while 75% of export is to West Asian countries. European Union countries also import Indian basmati rice. European Union countries and West Asian countries import this basmati rice. Out of this 100% of production, we export 75% to other countries. So there is much demand for this basmati rice. Okay. So EU countries, they have some phytosanitary measures, means these plants should not have these diseases. These plants should have certain minerals, like that. They will have certain requirements. So in order to comply these rules, our government has developed new plans such that it will have less diseases and it will be more attractive to the European markets. So here you can see the two types of diseases: bacterial leaf blight and blast leaf and collar diseases caused by a fungus known as Magna portiosae. These diseases causes leaf problems. Like you can see, bacterial leaf blight and blast leaf and collar. These eats leaf, right? Achieving the permitted levels is very difficult. They are using pesticides for control on pests. They are using pest for controlling that, but sometimes farmers will put more pest than the necessary pest, and it will be banned by the European because of phytosanitary measures. By improving an herbicide tolerant plant, they don't have to put other um, these types of pest controls, so that more amount of plant will be imported by the European markets, and it will not come under the phytosanitary measures, right? So previously, Pusa basmati rice 1185, sorry, from previously Pusa basmati 11121, they developed a new variety known as Pusa basmati 1885. Similarly, from Pusa basmati 1509, they developed another variety known as Pusa basmati 1847. Pusa basmati 1401 was improved to develop Pusa basmati 1886. All these varieties have two genes to resist BLB. BLB means bacterial leaf blight, which we have already discussed, and two genes to resist blast diseases. Farmers need not use pesticides, and it will be decrease the cost of farming by 3000 acre. So they don't have to use pesticides because they have the plant in which it itself has the herbicide tolerance, right? So IARA provided 1 kilogram each of seeds to about 10,000 farmers. As a testing stage, they provided 1 kilogram each of seeds to 10,000 farmers, and they have tested successfully. Similarly, in IARA has also developed transplanting methods. What is meant by transplanting methods? For example, if you are growing a paddy, it requires a lot of water, right? From the seed stage to the fully grown mature stage, it requires a lot of water to be stagnant in the field. But in the transplanting stage, they will be growing this plant to the R stage in the lab itself. And in the lab they have developed the technology so that the plant does not require enough this much of water to develop. So when they develop these seeds, they will be directly distributing to the farmers. So here there is an advantage that it does not require large amount of water for growing a fully developed matured paddy. So by developing this type of transplanted seeds, there will be we don't have to supply enough amount of water for growing these paddy fields. But there is a problem. If there is no water, these herbicides can easily attack these plants. So the IARI again researched, and they made another set of fields, another set of plants, so that it is also an herbicide tolerant. So you can see here, we have to change the practice of cultivating transplanted variety of paddy to direct sowing of rice. Water saving is 35% in direct sowing of rice, and the requirement will be around 2000 liters of kilogram of water. For previously transplanting the plants, it requires 3000 plants, but in direct sowing of rice, it requires only 2000 liters of, for a kilogram of rice. So, we for a kilogram of rice we can reduce around 1000 liters of water. The second advantage is that greenhouse. When we store water in a field for many days, it will produce methane gases, right? So when we reduce these steps, the advantage is we will be reducing methane gases, and ultimately it will reduce the greenhouse gases, right? So overall, you can see here the labor cost of transplantation, which is about 3000, is also saved. Overall cost saving will be at least 4000 per acre. So, however, one of the major problem is DSR is weeds. Without water acting as a herbicide, the DSR method allows lot of crops weeds to crop up in the field. So, the transferred a gene that is resistant to the herbicide. This is what we have discussed. Right? Shall we move on to the next topic? Teachers training key to the NCF implementation, says experts. So, recently we have known that the Union Minister of Education has released a document known as National Curriculum Framework. In that they have said that it provides an organic and well-framed roadmap for teaching 3 to 8 years old. These are the vital age for learning, but will be difficult to implement in absence of proper teaching and training and infrastructure support, right? So NCART and or state boards need to involve teachers as they are the primary stakeholders. So this is learning, this is student. When the things that has to be learning has to reach the students, it can be done only through the teachers. So here what the author says is the teachers should be well trained in this thing, right? So national curriculum framework was right, and so was the focus on the early education. Early education means from age of 3 to 8 years old. And now it was for NCE and the SCERT to identify games in the current pedagogy that NCF would be implemented. So what is meant by pedagogy? The method and the practice of teaching. For example, if I am teaching, if I teach in the same voice, it will be boring to you. So I have to raise the voice where I should have to make you understand, or I have to get your attention, and I have to lower my voice where you will be having more attention, and the details are more, and the details which I am teaching is less relevant to you, right? And use of other important, for example, by drawing you can I can get your attention, like this use of methods to attract the student. This is known as pedagogy. So NCF 2022 for foundation age groups favors developing an interactive curriculum for the children at various levels using storytelling techniques, real life experiences. It says both games and stories from the Panchatantra should be used to teach children in 6 to 8 age. For the first 3 years of foundation age, there is at least 3 to 6 years old. There should not be any prescribed textbooks, rather simple worksheets, so that it will improve the creativity of the students. It should also recommend that the mother tongue should be used as a primary medium, because in mother tongue, it will be easier for children to grasp the basic details of the what they have to need instead of English, right? English could also be used as a second language options, but things should be taught in the primary language. So here they are saying this, mainly the teachers should be more trained than the students because they are the agents who makes the things understand uh, basic things for understanding by the children, right? So teachers should be well trained, and we can also use many methods such as use of CSR funds to train teachers, example, etc. Right? So we will be moving on to the next topic: how InvITs work and generate their income. So what is meant by InvITs? Infrastructure Investment Trust. Infrastructure Investment Trust. So act these trusts will receive money from the publics, and they will be used in implementing main projects. So one of the example of infrastructure investment trust in India is NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, right? So how this paragraph is fully of um, how they are collecting the revenue which is used for financing these projects, right? So Nahai can use Nahai can collect money from the public, uh, similar to mutual fund, right? Here in this mutual fund, they will be collecting from some organizations like pension, insurance trust, right? Everyone will be wondering where this money which is collected from insurance, where this money is going. So they will not collect they will collect the money and they will not keep it idle until something occurs and you will claim the insurance. Instead they will be depositing this money, and they will be depositing the money in other types of investment trust, and they will be getting returns from it. So when this insurance trust invest in infrastructure investment trust, they will get a returns. For example, they if they are paying 10,000 rupees, they will get an in returns of 10 percentage, right? If 10 percentage means they will get 1,000 rupees every year, similar to our RDFT. Like that, this trust also invest in this infrastructure so that the money is circulated, right? So this is a simple um, way how infrastructure investment trust earns. Not only through these ways, they also sell their shares in an attractive price, and they will attract more money by selling their shares in IPO, initial public offerings. So you can study this topic in detail. This is related to economy, right? You can study this detail. If you have any doubt regarding this detail, you can ask me in the comment box. I will explain you detailing, right? So you see here, these monies by health insurance premium are used in the InvIT trust, right? So today we are stopping this. So if you have any doubt, kindly comment in the comment box, right?